Hi, I need a little sanity check here. I think I'm sane, but I'm having a difference of opinion with somebody on the internet, a fellow named Kevin. Whoops, sorry, let me go back there. Okay, um, so despite what it says at the very top of the screen here, don't worry. I'm not going to be talking about moral relativists, liars, bigots, etc. What I want you to see is that I've written an answer, and this person, Kevin, has responded to it. I should say right here, this is going to be one of these things that some of you are going to say, why are you bothering with this? Well, I'm just bothering because I'm interested. I like to pursue difficult conversations just to see if there's any possible way of straightening them out. I don't think this one can be straightened out, but you never know. If I got to a point where I was extremely frustrated, then I would quit. But I haven't reached that point. I still think it's worth talking to Kevin. Um, Kevin, you can see this goes on for a really long time. Uh, Kevin, at times in this conversation, does get a bit frustrated, but that's okay. Um, yeah, you can see the all caps shouting and that kind of thing. All right, so let me get to the crux of this. I'm going to show you my answer in just a second, but what I want you to see here is that Kevin quotes my answer. The part he quotes is me saying, "I am not sure how you're defining moral relativist." Then he responds to that quote by saying, "I am not defending moral relativist. I am attacking it with historical evidence." Okay, so here's the sticking point. Nothing to do with moral relativism or moral relativist. It's the word defining versus the word defending. I say, according to him, I'm not sure how you're defining a moral relativist. And he says, I'm not defending I'm not defending moral relativist, as if he thinks I said defining, or as if he thinks I said defending. That's a pretty common mistake. I've made mistakes like that tons of times. Now, that's my contention here, is that he's just made a mistake. He's misread something. He thinks otherwise. Even after going over this, you could see we're going back and forth about wording here multiple times. So, a couple things I want to point out here. Okay. Uh, First of all, if I go directly to, say, uh, this response right here, let me just open that up in another tab. Okay, you'll see that above that it says view parent, and I can kind of like click up the chain here, view parent, and then I get to the top. So at this point, there are no more parents. The only parent is my answer itself. So I just want to show you that there's nothing in between my answer and Kevin's, what I'm thinking is a mistake, his mistaking defining for defending. It's not like somewhere in between these two things I've slipped in defending, the word defending somewhere. So now let me go directly to my answer. Okay. And the very first sentence on my answer is what he quotes. I'm not sure how you're defining, okay, right there, defining a moral relativist. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to do in my answer is do a search for defending, and you can see it does not show up anywhere in my answer. Now let me do defining, and you can see define and definitions. Defining does come up in that one place, but at no point do you see defend or defending or anything like that. So that word defending does not appear anywhere in my answer. The other thing, I guess it's possible that I could be trying to see how to get to the log for this answer. There is actually says I updated it. So what I want to show is that at no point did I, I guess the one possibility is the word defending was in there at one point, but I have since edited out. It's weird. I'm in Safari. I don't see a log button in there, but let me open it here in Chrome. Yeah, that's weird. I don't. There's this little thing right here in Chrome that will take me to the log. Anyway, here's the log of edits to my answer, and I indeed have edited it multiple times. Here's the entire log. Let's look for the word defending in here. Okay, it's not there, but there's defining. And we can see, I just changed some typos and stuff like that. I added a paragraph, but the word defending is not in it. We can keep looking up defending. Defining. You don't see defending anywhere in there. I'll do a search here for defending. Yep. So no usage of defending anywhere in there. It wasn't originally in there. You can even see here's the very beginning of the log. I started as defining. It is still defining. Okay, so let me go back to where I had all of this in Safari. Here we go. Okay, so Kevin says, I say, according to him and according to me, I'm not sure how you're defining a moral relativist. He says, I am not defending moral relativist. Okay, in my next response, I say, I didn't say defending. And I repeat his quote, and I repeat his mistake to show him the difference. Okay, and from that point on, now, of course, I did say defending here. I just quoted where he said it. And if we actually do a search here for defending, we can see that the very first use of it, right? Remember, there's no use of it in my answer. The very first, and there's nothing in between here in my answer. There's no view parent. Okay, so the very first use of defending is Kevin's, and then the second use is me saying I didn't say it, which I didn't, and then me quoting him. And then what follows is just tons of conversation about this point. Kevin does try to move past it and discuss moral relativism, which I'd love to discuss with him, but I kind of feel like we can't move on until we settle this, because this is sort of the foundation of our discussion. If we can't even agree on what words we're seeing on the screen, which is a very simple thing in my view, there's no way we're going to be able to have an intelligible conversation about moral relativism, which is a much more complex thing. So I even paste in here screenshots. I do, everything I can think of doing. And Kevin is pretty insistent that, that I said defending. This is from you, defending. I think maybe what he's confused about is the fact that I did use the word defending. I was the second person to use it. I did use it here and here, but I was quoting him. I was quoting his mistake. I've tried to point that out to him. He doesn't get it. So I think this leaves us with a couple of possibilities. Of course, I think, from my point of view, that he's made a mistake. I don't believe he's trolling. Of course, he could be. I don't believe he's, just unwilling to admit to a mistake that he knows he's made. I don't believe he's crazy. I think for whatever reason, he really believes that I used the word here, defending. The other possibility, of course, is that I'm wrong. I'm hallucinating, I'm lying, something like that. If I'm lying, we're kind of sunk, because I'm not going to admit to that. It's weird if I'm lying, because you can see the evidence right there, but I guess it's remotely possible that I, This whole video is doctored. It's somehow like photoshopped, and I hacked into the logs on Quora and made changes. Well, I can't really disprove any of that. So, but there are other possibilities. I could just be, having some kind of hallucination. Or I guess there could be like some kind of grand conspiracy in which Quora is showing one thing to him and another thing to me. Anyway, that's kind of where things stand right now. I don't think it's likely that Kevin and I can move forward from this, but you never know. Okay. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts.